Hello, and welcome to Justice Nicole, the Entrepreneurist YouTube. So I was like, it's the end of the year. My amazing best friend made me this so cool calendar, 2022 Year of Justice, right? And I'm like, hey, to start off the new year, I feel like every entrepreneur needs kind of like some guidelines, some start points. Hey, where can I start? Hey, what things do I need to consider when going into the new year? So I thought I'd jot down a couple things. Go ahead, get your notepads, pens out, and let's get to moving. So, first and foremost, determine your strengths and weaknesses of 2021. Anything that could be, hey, I didn't market as much as I should have. That could be, I didn't handle my financials like I should have. I didn't do client relations like I should have. I didn't do business development like I should have. So those are weaknesses. But then what about your strengths? Hey, amazingly, I posted every day this year. Or the last quarter of this year, I made sure that I was super adamant about getting back to customers or clients and their needs and things like that. So those are strengths, weaknesses. What did you do very well this year? What did you not do so well this year, right? We want to go ahead and determine those, but also we want to break down even more in detail what it is that we actually enjoy to do, right? So that's what I would say as well. Determine out of those things, out of those strengths and weaknesses, what did you love to do? I love to reach back to my clients. I love the client to client or customer to customer interaction. That's something that you might love. I hate doing any financials. That was the worst part for me. I never did a budget. I never actually planned out, these projects or these events the way that I should have. I might not have allocated enough funds to make sure that my business was staying afloat while I was still handling my personal needs, right? So what do you love to do? What do you not love to do? Go ahead and determine that as well. From that, you can go ahead and determine what can I actually outsource. So within all of this, you're figuring out what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, but then also you're figuring out what do I love to do, what do I not love to do? And then in those things that I don't like to do, hey, can I actually outsource this? Can I use Fiverr? Can I use Upwork? Can I use, hey, one of my just network of resources that can actually do this for myself? Like I use a financial analysis, I use an accountant, I use a bookkeeper. I hate financials, so that's not going to be the thing that I do. So that's something that I can outsource. That's something that somebody with more expertise or even more passion for this, that's really what it's about for me, especially is who has the passion to do the things that I might want to outsource and that they really might just take in for themselves and be like, that's what I love to do anyways. I would love to do it for your business. So especially, like I said, I mentioned it quickly, but like Fiverr, Upwork, even Indeed, LinkedIn, you can find some of these people that aren't looking for a full-time or part-time position. They might just look for contract work, something that they can easily and quickly just pick up, go ahead and help you out. And then, hey, I'll contact you when I need something else again. You don't have to worry about full-time or part-time employment, right? So what can I outsource? Out of those things that I love, I don't love, my strengths and weaknesses, so forth and so on. Also, you want to, in this strengths and weaknesses analysis, you want to get client or employee feedback. You want to make sure that not just you feel like you're doing an amazing job or you only know your strengths and weaknesses, but you want to see the people around you's perspective as well. So what are your clients saying? Maybe send a survey. It could be 5 to 10 questions, just something to say, how satisfied were you with this service? Or how satisfied were you with this product? And just go ahead and ask them basic, simple questions. How is the time management? How is the customer service? Kind of like what you get on Uber when they ask you at the end of your order, like, hey, how did this person do? Did they have great communication? Did they have a great handoff? All of that is kind of what you want to get from your clients as well, right? We want to get this from our employees too. So our employees are going to give us internal feedback, something that will look internally to say, hey, this is what you might not be doing as effectively as you think that you might be. So hopefully you have employees that are transparent, or hopefully that you've created a workplace or a work environment that your employees can be transparent. But when they are, they'll go ahead and they'll tell you, they'll say, hey, honestly, your communication skills might not be the best because you don't respond to emails within 24 to 48 hours. But something that you do super awesome is client relations. Anytime that we have a client or a new project, you're the first one to meet them, introduce yourself, and make sure that they're comfortable. Great. Strengths and weaknesses also from your employees. So go ahead and grit that as well. So strengths, weaknesses, and feedback from your employees and clients in this, right? And last but not least, when we're thinking of strengths and weaknesses, we want to think about how can we actually scale whatever it is that we're doing. Whether it's a product or a service, how can I actually take what I'm doing and make it bigger than what it is? That's what scaling is. I'm not just going to keep it here in the Atlanta area. I want to branch out now to LA, to Miami, to New York, these places. How can I scale it? How can I get it bigger, right? So out of these strengths and weaknesses, after I figured out what it is that I do well, what I don't do well, then I'm like, okay, what can I actually delegate out or outsource out? Then I can say, hey, clients, employees, how do you guys feel about the service that I'm doing? That can give me the generalized feedback to say, hey, this is what you need to do next. For example, if we're talking about how to scale and we get client feedback to say you might not have as much communication, or you don't give me, hey, maybe any like discounts off or any, special rewards or membership fees or anything like that, that might actually change your scaling product, right? So then you're saying like, hey, if anything, I'm going to take this feedback and go ahead and implement it into what I'm doing, and that's going to help me scale out eventually. So now I'll be sending out more customer emails. Now I'll be making sure that I send out more promotions, things like that, right? So all of this encompasses strengths and weaknesses that you're determining within 2021, right? Perfect. The second thing you want to do is plan out your month of January. So January is literally tomorrow, right? So when you're planning for January, what you want to make sure of is that you're actually allocating time for your work-life balance. You want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough time management to not just complete your projects, complete the work that you need to get done, but also make sure that you're focusing on yourself, whether that's yoga, whether that's working out, whatever you feel for you is giving yourself work-life balance. Like for me, going out to eat maybe once a week, even just treating myself to a nice dinner, maybe some nice cocktails, go out, have a great time, listen to some music. That for me might create a work-life balance. Especially for entrepreneurs, we're working 24/7. So you need to make sure you actually plan that time into your schedule. If not, then it's just going to get mumbled and jumbled and you're just going to continuously work. So for the month of January, and you're going to do this on a regular basis, but at least start here, right? The first step is to start. So for the month of January, plan it all out. Go deep dive, plan out your meetings, any meetings that you have that are things that you feel like you need to do every week or need to do bi-weekly. Go ahead, plan that out. Do these bi-weekly meetings, put them on your schedule, let the people know that are supposed to be a part of these meetings, that these meetings are on the schedule and that this is the plan. There is no going outside of these lines, no going outside of these times, and this is what we're going to stick to, right? So, like I said, plan out your month of January. See what you can do as far as your time management and your work-life balance, and make sure that that's on your schedule. Do not miss that, right? Okay, so number 3, set your 2022 goals, right? So we want to make sure that we're high-level planning. So first and foremost, if you see any of my other videos, I always say high-level plan first, right? So 5-year, 3-year, 1-year, quarterly plans. But let's go ahead and deep dive into 2022. So high-level planning for 2022 is, hey, what are my ultimate goals? Over the year, throughout the year, next year, I want to be in this place. So I usually do it like either by my age or by the year, whatever the case may be. So for myself, like next year, I will be 28. So by the time I'm 28, I want to do this. I want to make sure that I have a house. I want to make sure that my business is flourishing, that I'm actually revenue positive, and I want to make sure that I have over 25 clients. That could be just some rudimentary high-level goals, right? So go ahead and set out your high-level goals for 2022. What do you want to complete within this year? Possibly even that you haven't completed last year, that you can kind of even carry on. But even other things that you're like, hey, we did this or I did this last year. I want to take this to the next level this year. Go ahead and plan those things out. Set your high-level goals, right? Next thing you want to make sure when you're setting your goals, set those quarterly goals. So what is going to get me to the point to reach my yearly goals? It's going to be 4 sets of 3 months, right? So that's what quarterly is. We want to make sure that we're allocating the time to make sure that we can complete and execute the goals that we have in mind. The best way to do that is by setting smaller goals. So if I say that I want to get 25 clients this year and this past year I only had 5, what's going to help me get to that point every quarter? Well, reaching out to 100 clients or 100 possible clients every quarter is going to help me eventually get to that goal. So you want to set small goals to go ahead and get to the larger high-level goals, right? That's what you're going to do for your goal setting for quarterly. Next, you want to do monthly. So what are actual attainable goals that I can reach next month? So these aren't the high level goals, nor are these like kind of the pinpoint goals to get to those high level goals. This is more realistic. This is more, hey, what do I need to do tomorrow? What do I need to set my schedule up for every week to get to this point of me feeling like I can actually execute what's in my quarterly and yearly goal, right? So the first thing is you want to make sure that with your monthly goals, just like I said, plan out your January, plan out your month. Go ahead and set those goals within your schedule. Maybe, hey, every Monday is when I do client relations. So that's when I reach out to all past clients. I send out customer surveys. I'm making sure that any clients or customers are feeling like they're getting tended to and that they have the necessary service. On Tuesdays, that's the day that I do my marketing. So that's the day that I talk to my social media manager, talk to my marketing manager, and actually get things planned out, not just for the week, but for the month, for the year, so on and so forth. Hey, on Wednesdays, that's when I reach out to new clients. That's when I'm going to go ahead and email probably something that I'm copying and pasting to every possible or potential client that I could have, right? So that's what we want to do. We wanted to set attainable monthly goals. So that goes down to even our day-to-day basis. What does that mean I need to do on a daily/weekly basis to reach my monthly goals, which will then help with my quarterly and eventually help with my high level yearly, right? Perfect. And these are just quick tips. So one of my last tips would be do your taxes. Personal and business. Make sure this is something that especially small business owners and startup owners might not remember to do immediately, but make sure you do that. Find a service or a person that you actually trust to do your taxes, somebody that you can make sure will give you the necessary tax returns, will make sure that you get the most back in the things that you spend, because as we know, we can write a lot of things off as a business owner, but we need to make sure that those things actually match up with the business that we're actually intaking. So talk to somebody about that, whether that is a financial analysis, an accountant, a bookkeeper, or even just a tax person. Just figure out for yourself who that is and what that looks like, but please make sure you do your business and your personal taxes. So last but not least, I'm just going to leave you guys with a couple just daily and possibly even monthly tips that you can do to make sure that you're staying on track with your entrepreneur goals, right? So monthly, higher level, look at your past goals, what you did the past month or what you had set forth for expectations for the last month, and see how you might have failed or how you might not have met the goal that you were looking for. And in that, now create a way or see for yourself what that differentiator was that did not push you to reach that goal, that you couldn't get to that point. That could be lack of staff. You might be putting too much on yourself. You might need to hire or outsource like we've been talking about. But what we want to make sure is that we can actually identify where was it that I lacked or where was it that I did not fulfill what I could have fulfilled. So make sure you do that every single month. Review what you did last month and see how you could have been better. Like I already said, we want to make sure that we're setting up our calendar to include work-life balance, right? So like I said, set out your month of January, but keep doing this every single month, whether that's the last week, the last Monday of the month. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set out my schedule, or whenever you have time, set out your monthly schedule to include work-life balance, include your yoga, include your meditation, your time off, you're going to get dinner with friends, whatever it is, make sure that you're putting it into your schedule and do not overlook it. Do not say I'll do it next week or I'll do it next time and I'm just going to bypass it. No. Stick to it and stay firm. And lastly, I'll say jot down potential clients. So that could be from last month, last year, or even just within the past week that you've been talking to different people, but jot down potential clients. I highly recommend an Excel spreadsheet or something like that, or sheets in Google, but go ahead and make a list. Do it with the name of the person's company or business, possibly the date that you contacted them, maybe a notes section so that you can add what you actually contacted them about. Hey, this was about plan activation in Hawaii, whatever the case may be. Make sure you set out that sheet so that you can be as detailed as possible when you're reaching out to these clients. So like I said, jot down potential clients. Then you'll be able to know next week, next month, next year, hey, who did I not reach out to? Who did I? Who do I need to follow up with? Who was the last person that actually sent an email? Things like that. And even when you actually hire somebody like a personal assistant or even just an operations manager, it's an easier handoff to say, hey, these are the people I contacted. This is who you still need to contact. This is the point that we're at with them. Super helpful, and it'll make everybody's lives a million times easier. So make sure you do those three things, right? Review your goals, set up an actual calendar, and make a list of clients. Just quickly, overall monthly goals that you can make sure that you're staying on point with your entrepreneurship goals. Now, daily, this is something that I tell just about everybody. Every single day, you should be focusing on three things. One, something that brings me immediate income, immediate return on my investment, right? So for example, some people might consider this their 9-to-5 job. Hey, when I work these hours, I know I'm gonna get paid. I know I have the benefits, X, Y, and Z. Some people might have a home that they rent out and they know that, hey, I have a lease for a year. These people are always gonna pay their rent. It's residual income, it's immediate. Boom. One, focus on something that will give you immediate income. Number two, focus on something that will give you residual income, maybe something that will benefit you in the long term. So some people invest in cryptocurrency. Some people have stocks. These are things that might not give you an immediate return, but if you weigh the waters and if you go with the tide, then you might get it eventually. And not even just might. Some people have 401ks. Some people have investment tanks or investment properties. These things will give you residual income in the long term. Might not be immediate, but it will come. And last but not least, number 3, something that focuses on you, your passion, your purpose, and what makes you happy. A lot of people miss this point. You should be focusing every single day on you. At some point, whether that is making yourself dinner, that's working out, that's going to yoga, that could be painting and sipping. It's whatever you feel gives you a purpose, passion, brings light back into your life, whatever that looks like. So we want to make sure we're focusing on those 3 things, right? Something that's going to bring me immediate income, something that's going to bring me income in the future, and then something that daily helps me personally or helps me with my passion or give me work-life balance. That's what we want to make sure that we're focusing on every day, because at the end of the day, those 3 things, 1 is going to make us money, 2 is going to keep us wealthy, and 3 is going to keep us healthy, right? Period. So those are my quick tips. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys have an amazing new year. Please be safe, okay? Rona's real. The Omicron, all of the above. It's real. Keep your masks on. If you do go out, stay 6 feet distance. It's okay. It's no shade, nothing like that. Just make sure that you're taking care of yourselves. Have some emergency in your purse, something like that, okay? Keep your vitamins, immune system up. But please have an amazing New Year's. You guys focus on yourselves, focus on your business, and make sure that 2022 is your year. Thanks, guys. Happy New Year.